good afternoon, and I will talk about a project that has been initially funded by RERIPA called 3, and its name is Chances Pacific, Climate Change and the Future of Coastal Communities, Transformation of Sociality, Livelihoods and Lifestyle in the South Pacific. Unfortunately, this funding ended unexpectedly end of February, so that we are now in a very difficult position. We have prepared everything for research. We have all our methods and tools ready, but actually we cannot really start our project. So what I'm telling today is just the preparations and our plan. Hopefully we can nevertheless continue, but at the moment we don't actually know how and when. So in the original project, there were a lot of collaborators directly involved: USB, the National University of Vanuatu, the Ministry of Education and Training of Vanuatu, and Sinu University of the Solomon Islands. And very importantly, also the Falah project, UNC, IAC, and the University of Sydney. And our research locations are located in 3 countries, in Vanuatu, Fiji, and the Solomon Islands. And here on this slide, you can see our team. The core team who was actually planned to do the research, the field work, is a small team, me as project manager and 3 research assistants in Vanuatu, Marianne in Fiji, Jane and Clarence in the Solomon Islands. And in the very important background, researchers such as Olivier Galli and Séverine Bois. Our planned objectives are still to understand the livelihoods and lifestyles of the communities in the Pacific, and especially also the future of these livelihoods and lifestyles. And we concentrate on communities affected by coastal vulnerabilities, sea level rise, flooding, and we are using digital technologies. I will detail these technologies a bit later. And another thing was to identify challenges these communities are facing. Originally, our research was focused on creating living labs and co-produce together with the communities adapted responses or solutions to challenges that can improve livelihood and lifestyle, but probably this will not be possible because of lack of funds. So what we expected as outcomes, we want to understand practices and perceptions of people connected with livelihoods, with a focus on family farming, lifestyle with a focus on diet and eating habits, and on connected with environmental changes and climate change. And additionally, we want to understand and inhabitants' perception of changes of their lifestyle and livelihood practices, and also their perception on changes of their sociality, economy, and environment. And after this, we want to analyze the interconnections between those practices and perceptions. And in the end, to present and disseminate the results. Here our three countries and the locations. The idea was to have in each country one rural and one urban location. And I will go through the following slides very quickly because lack of time. Here in Fiji, an urban site affected by frequent flooding. People have only small space to plant food crops. In contrast, the rural side here, people do a lot of family farming, but it is also affected by frequent flooding. Solomon Islands, similar situation. This is a location inside the capital, Honiara, and it's also affected by flooding and coastal erosion. And the rural side here in Solomon Islands, people do a lot of farming, and the main crops are root crops. But here also the problem is flooding, mainly from rivers, but also from rising sea levels. In Vanuatu, we have chosen a location on a small island close to the main island, Efate. And here we have also people doing cultivation of food crops. But as you see on the last picture here, it is really affected by coastal erosion. This is really hard for people because they have to move their houses, and the graveyards are coming out. And the urban side here in Port Vila, besides a lagoon, and here also we have coastal erosion and sometimes flooding. This is a short overview of our components, and at the same time we are using for these different components different methods. The first one is we use an app called iRecall24 for data collection on food consumption and food habits. The second component and second method is a digital questionnaire from on the basis of the survey solution, and it's on family farming. And the third one are qualitative interviews with an interview guide, and these questions focus on perceptions regarding changes of diet, family farming, but also sociocultural and environmental aspects. And the approach is to find interconnections between these practices, processes, and notions, and also the connection to overweight and obesity. I will present the different methodologies in the next slides. The first one, the iRecall24. It's an app that already existed for the Pacific, but only for New Caledonia and Wallis and Futuna. But now it was translated into English, we created and integrated lists with typical food products of the 3 countries, Vanuatu, Fiji, and Solomon Islands, and also we took photos of typical food products and they were integrated into the app. So just to give you an impression, here are a few screenshots of this app. The first one, yes, now in English. It's for a period of 24 hours. And then the questions start. The participants are able to fill out the questions of the app themselves with the help of researchers. And in the next slide, you see an example of typical products we included for Vanuatu, different kinds of lap-lap. Here, the first one with fish and the second one with island cabbage. The second component and second method we are using is the survey solutions family farming questionnaire. This questionnaire was also adjusted for the special requirements of our project and also the special context of the 3 countries. We added a number of context-specific and locally adjusted questions and adjusted already existing questions. Here again, a few screenshots of this questionnaire, digital questionnaire. And here, especially, you can see it's about family farming. What this means, not only cultivation of food crops, although this is an important part, but also about livestock, about collecting wild plants and hunting animals or fishing, and about food consumption. We added some questions and possibilities for answers of food consumption, and there is also one part we want to know the income generating activities of the people in addition to their family farming activities. And finally, the third method, qualitative interviews. There we want to concentrate on notions, values, attitudes connected with family farming, diet, and so on. And I've just put some questions from Vanuatu here. So we want to know the value of cultivating food or making garden. We want to know why do people like to make gardens or not, why they find it important or not so important to cultivate food crops, and also to know if they think cultivating of food crops for subsistence is important for the future. So the current state of our project is we have done initial workshops with the communities where we explained our project and where we heard the challenges of the people they have in their communities. Then in all 6 locations, household surveys have been conducted to get an overview over these communities. The digital tools, as you have seen, have been adjusted to the contexts. The qualitative interview guide has been drafted, and also first tests with the digital tools and the interview guide have been carried out. Just to give you an example of our very, very first preliminary insights, we have made some interviews in Viana, in our rural site in Vanuatu. Here is the situation. People have usually more than one garden for subsistence. They are growing their own food.
You have only 1 minute left.
Okay. They have several backyard gardens and they value cultivation of food crops as very, very important and think that cultivation of food crops is also important for the future. Whereas in the urban side, cultivation areas are small and people rely on income generating activities. In the rural side, people consume predominantly food from their own gardens, whereas rice and processed food is used rather as supplement, whereas in the urban side, it's the other way around. In both sides, people value locally grown food very high, and imported and processed food is often associated with diseases such as diabetes or high blood pressure, and especially in the urban areas. In the urban side, especially, people emphasize that this diet is not healthy. They want to have a different diet, but they also express their frustration that they do not have the possibility to cultivate or to afford buying good food because it's very expensive, and so they have to fall back on cheap processed food and rice. So, short outlook, unfortunately, it's not possible to continue the project activities under the REDIPA program. Assuming that there were other funding possibilities, it would be possible to start data collection fieldwork already now or next week, and to finalize at least one cycle of our planned activities during the following weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Question to Arno. Sorry. Any questions or comments? Yes.
It's just a question on the and what happened. Was the project all signed up and ready to go in contracts when they got the funding? It sounds like a. Just a question on the what happened. Project all signed up.
Okay.
Sorry. I was just wondering. It sounded like.
Can you repeat the question for me? It's really hard to understand.
And I was just wondering. I mean, were you in this situation where you had all the contracts and everything signed off, and they just cut the funding? And did they give you any reason for it?
Yes.
I was just wondering. I mean, were you in this situation where you had all the contracts and everything signed off, and they just cut the funding? And did they give you any reason for it?
No. The problem was that we were told that the official project end is actually end of February, but we were many times told that there will be a no-cost extension until probably November this year. And there has been obviously sent some letters to the funding agency, and there was no answer.
There is another question. If
Olivier got it. Reasons why.
There is Jean-François and Gilbert in the room. They are the manager of the REDIPA project. Yes. All the calls. Maybe if they want complete or give us a few words.
It's a question of Brussels mess. No, it's complex now in Europe and so there was a change. The commissioner changed in EU, and you have also the fund. The funder is EU through the OACPS, through the Secretariat of Organizations of Asia, Africa, and Pacific countries. And the direction of this organization changed too. So we are still waiting official answer because we wrote 3 times from July to middle of February letters to OACPS, and we are still waiting. But as you see the official date for ending the contract is gone, we assume that the project is finished, but we have no official answer. So we hope to receive one day one answer, but it takes time, and you see in Europe there is lots of questions about how to put the fundings. Also, imagine that in Ukraine there is peace, so lots of money will go to Ukraine. There is also a question about Gaza, and so there is lots of discussions in Brussels on how to put the money in the near future. And so, unfortunately, RORIPA project were victims of this fuzzy time, but we are still waiting official answer of OACPS. So,
Okay, please,
we're in Pacific Islands. If we were in Indian Ocean, we could say Inshallah.
please,
We're in Pacific.